Hello friends, welcome back to Seditious September. Now last week we discussed electoralism versus revolutionary politics, and it left us in a bit of a pickle. We can't rely on bourgeois democracy to act in our best interests, but there's not a revolution happening right now, and it doesn't really feel advisable to start one, so what can we do? There are two terms you've probably heard a lot of pinkos and stinkos throw around: praxis and direct action. Praxis just means applying theory with actions in the real world. You might know that better as doing things. Understand, we have to speak in code because it helps us feel like we're old-timey badasses and alienates everyone. Direct action just means taking action oneself, rather than relying on an institution or representative to take action on your behalf. You participate in direct action all the time, whether or not you recognize it as such. Ever given change to a homeless person? That's direct action. You didn't just go home and write a letter to your congressman or member of parliament or whatever and petition them to introduce a bill to address homelessness. You saw that there was a problem, and you personally took action to deal with that problem. Now, is that effective direct action? In a very short-term sense, I suppose. They can use your change, hopefully, to buy something they might need. Long-term, though, they're still homeless. They're still going to be cold at night, and every day will still be a struggle for them. It's good to give homeless people change, but it's not enough, really. A better solution might be to break into a... Hi! Just before I get into this, I should mention everything I say on this YouTube channel is a joke. It's all satire, and legally speaking, I'm not encouraging anyone to commit crimes. Don't do crimes! This is all just YouTube jokes. Jokes for online. Obviously, it's all satire, so just be chill. Just chill out. An empty home and give the person and other homeless people a place to sleep. Anarchists worldwide run squats like these for precisely this reason. And I think it's a pretty heroic thing to do. It's heroic because it's risky. It's against the law and you can be arrested, or worse, beaten up, maybe even killed by the police. And I commend anyone who is brave enough to put their bodies on the line, but since I personally am too much of a coward to do that, I feel deeply uncomfortable telling you to do it either. So I'm going to share with you some ideas for direct action that pose little risk to you. Simple things you can start doing right now to advance the cause. If you take nothing else away from this video, let it be this. There's only so much one person can do, and if you're the type of person who gives a shit about leftist politics, it's likely that you don't have a lot of time or money to throw around, further limiting what you're able to accomplish on your own. What we need is for like-minded people to work together. Luckily for you, there are leftos in every single nook and or cranny of this flat earth working on building exactly that. Get in touch with them, go to some meetings and get involved. They will have work that needs to be done, trust me, there's always work that needs to get done. Might I recommend in particular the International Workers of the World? I am a member, and I'm just now realizing I'm behind on my dues, so I'm a member in bad standing, and I'll deal with that later. The IWW and other organizations like it organize larger campaigns of action that you can contribute to in various ways, be it standing in solidarity with striking workers, defending communities from violence of the state, capital, and the far right, raising money for community needs, organizing reading groups, distributing food or goods to needy people. The list goes on, you name it, they're doing it. But thought slime. There's no good socialist organizations in my area. There's no IWW chapter. I'm totally hosed. If you're feeling up to it, maybe reach out to these organizations at the top level and try to start a local chapter. Maybe reach out to the closest local chapter and see if they'll help you organize something. The reason I stress this so hard is that not only will joining an org help you participate in direct action, it also broadens your social life. Do you ever feel crazy when you talk about hating capitalism? Do you ever get sick of explaining to people that when you say socialism, you don't mean an authoritarian state? If you've never been in a room full of other leftists, I gotta tell you, it's a breath of fresh air. It's inspiring, motivating, and it keeps you accountable. So just join an org. Hashtag join an org, you nerds. Let's get that trending. Now check your local bylaws on this one, because it might not be legal in your area, so just know what you're getting into. To wheat paste, you need the following things: paper, flour, water, and a brush. Wheat pasting is a cheap, fast, and easy way to send a message to everyone in your area. It lets you put up posters and messages and things like that, but it's not easy for people to take down. Furthermore, if some fascist dingling out there is putting up hateful messages or trying to recruit in your area, you can just wheat paste right over it. You don't gotta shell out the dough for stickers, you don't gotta waste your time taking that shit down. But if for whatever reason you do take down Fasc Agitprop, do it with your keys, not your fingers. They sometimes put razor blades behind their shit to cut you if you try and pull their shit down, so just be careful with that. Basically, here's what you do. Mix 2 parts flour with 3 parts water, boil the shit out of it, add water and a little bit of sugar as necessary until it gets real sticky. Take a poster that you think conveys an important message. For the purposes of this video, I've created this poster that I think demonstrates an important message that I want people to hear. Splash some of your wheat paste where you want the poster to go, and then slap the poster on and brush it up and down with more of that sticky goo that you made. I mean the wheat paste. Don't take that out of context. Don't get weird about that. That's it. That's all. You're done. That's literally all. People have even designed the fucking posters for you. So if you have a printer or a Staples in your area, you can print off a bunch of propaganda, get it sticky, and put it on things. Get sticky with me, comrades. Hey, cut. You're not gonna, I don't think that should be there. That get sticky with me thing. People are gonna take that out of context, so edit that out for me. Could you edit that out? Thanks. Prison is a demoralizing place by design. Prison is made to break people, make them compliant with a system that doesn't have their best interests at heart. And if they won't become compliant, to keep them locked away from the rest of the world and left to rot. Anarchists receive a lot of state repression, and that shouldn't be a shock to anyone. Anarchists want to destroy the state, and buddy, that feeling is mutual. A lot of anarchists end up becoming political prisoners because a lot of anarchist activism is highly scrutinized and often the target of harassment by the police that results in ridiculous trumped-up charges. You can make someone's time in prison a little easier by writing them a letter, keeping their morale up, letting them know that the rest of the world hasn't forgotten about them. In fact, here's a letter I'm sending to political prisoner and whistleblower Chelsea Manning. Dear Chelsea, let's get this out of the way first and foremost. I think you're an American hero. Your bravery in the face of repression is a guiding light that I hope we can learn to live up to. I say this up front because if I didn't, the next thing I say might cause some anxiety for you. I run a semi-popular leftist YouTube channel, which is an embarrassing piece of context, but stay with me. I recently made a video about your personal history and current attainment, and asked that people write messages to you in the comments that I could mail to you. Now, you have to understand that YouTube comments are inherently pretty toxic. You might expect that a lot of ding-dongs would say terrible things, and I'm pleased to tell you this is not the case. I received hundreds of glowing messages addressed to you, and have included as many of them as I could find here, omitting ones that I thought might get this letter rejected by the nerds who monitor your mail. This is kind of a white lie though, because there were a lot of mean messages, but they were all directed at me, not her, but she doesn't need to know that. I could waste your time telling you how great I think you are, but I think the messages you're going to read from hundreds of strangers that you have moved and inspired speak for themselves. You are not forgotten. The world has not moved on. We are still here, and we are still outraged for you. We are still fighting for you. They can't beat you. Yours in solidarity, Matt. P.S. Some of the comments say the phrase thought slime, which you should probably know is the name of the YouTube channel, because out of context, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Were you surprised that my real name was Matt? Then you're not subscribed to Scaredy Cats, busted! Go subscribe to Scaredy Cats, where I talk about horror movies. I did a video on Basket Case, go watch it now! Thank you everybody for sending nice messages to Chelsea. You can find a list of anarchist political prisoners in the comments and a helpful guide to writing to prisoners with some do's and don'ts. Here's a tip, don't talk about anything illegal in writing. Not just when you're writing to political prisoners, also like, all the time? Don't do that. Don't do that on social media, don't do that in emails, don't do that on Discord channels. Even if nobody is watching, and that's a big if they ever have reason to watch in the future, they might go back and find those things, and you don't want them to do that. Act like there are eyes everywhere, like you're somewhere full of eyes. Like an area that's full of eyes. I don't know what you would call such a thing, but like it's full. Hello and welcome to the Eyeball Zone. Here in the Eyeball Zone, I leverage the infinite power of eyeballs to shed light on underviewed leftist projects. Mostly YouTube channels, but not exclusively, because they're just easier for me to promote here on YouTube. There is a rich and storied history of anarchism in Latin America, more so than probably anywhere else on Earth. And this is shockingly under-discussed on LeftTube. If you want to learn more about it, I'd recommend you check out Camazotz, a Latinx comrade who puts out extremely quality videos and live streams on Latinx issues and struggles. Of particular relevance to this episode is his guide to screen printing agitprop. But I'd also like to highlight his video on the history of the Zapitistas. You should also follow him on Twitch, where he does a weekly talk show where he hosts a Latinx and Indigenous panel discussion. This is the shit we need. Please, God, support his work. Do you have an under-eyeballed project you want highlighted? Email me exactly once at thoughtslimeeditor@gmail.com with the word eyeballs somewhere in the subject line. Please include your pronouns, or I guarantee I will fuck them up. Maybe you'll find yourself trapped here in the Eyeball Zone. A food serve is just what it sounds like. You find a place where a lot of hungry people are, and you make or collect a bunch of food and distribute it to them. Serve it to them, one might say. Once again, this is really something an org could probably help you with. Hashtag join an org, you nerds. Might I suggest searching out a group like Food Not Bombs? They have like hundreds of chapters, and just look at this fucking map. Chances are they have one around you. And if not, you can start one. Food serves are great because they are a direct and efficient demonstration of the type of thing that is possible if we all just help one another. Like, we can just do this. We don't need anyone's permission. It shows people we don't have to rely on the whims of the rich or the state. We can just take care of it ourselves. And who would stand to benefit more from our movement than the most vulnerable? The people who are being fucked the hardest by the systems we want to dismantle. It's one thing to tell people, hey, we're gonna make things better for you, and hope they believe you. It's quite another thing to make things better for them, to show them. Now, I've been a great big hypocrite for almost everything on this list, but if there's one that I'm an especially big hypocrite for, it's this one. I hate talking politics with people in real life. That might shock you to hear, given what I do here, but I find it exhausting to have to explain the very basics of what I believe over and over and over and over. When people ask me what I do for a living, and I'm not sure they're gonna be chill, like I'm not sure they can hang, I usually say something like, oh, I work in digital media? If they press me, I'll begrudgingly admit that I run a YouTube channel. And when they ask, oh, what's your YouTube channel about? I give the non-answers of either, politics, I guess, or, left-wing anarchist philosophy. Now, I wouldn't consider anything I make on this channel to be philosophy, but it's a lot easier to say philosophy than theory or whatever, because that requires a much longer conversation. But about half of the time, when I say the phrase anarchist philosophy, people make this face. And then they say, anarchist philosophy, that's a contradiction. Anarchists, by definition, don't... And then I have to say, no, an anarchist is someone who believes that authority is not self-justifying and must meet the burden of proof required to demonstrate that it is both necessary and beneficial, or else be dismantled and replaced with a more horizontal institution. And usually, by around that time, they've stopped listening, but I'm already mad. And this is a big problem because I'm a very boring person. I've seen almost all of the Marvel movies. I'm a white schlubby dude who dresses like a conservative bachelor. I can name about a dozen Green Lanterns from memory. I have an encyclopedic knowledge of Minecraft. Whenever someone asks me what kind of music I like, I kind of just freeze in terror of having to explain power metal to a normal human being. It just sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon theme song, okay? I like it. I am not what people typically think of when they think of an anarchist. No one could possibly be threatened by me. I'm a big cuddly goofball. If I could get over my own short temper, I think that would make me a pretty decent ambassador for this belief system. I'm not some punk kid. I'm not interesting in any way. I'm the exact kind of boring asshole that society has convinced you is a more reasonable person. And I still believe this shit. Maybe you should too. I even have a big vocabulary that tricks people into thinking I'm real smart. I can say the word bourgeoisie anytime I want. I don't have to spell it. There's too many I's in it. Eyes. Eyeballs. No, we did that already. The point is, we need to be able to talk to people and explain ourselves. We need to be able to normalize our positions. Most people find an argument more persuasive if they hear it multiple times. That's why you'll see the same few commercials for Raid Shadow Legends on every YouTube video you watch today. Because most people find an argument more persuasive if they hear it multiple times. Hashtag join an org, you nerd. So when you say some radical shit for somebody and they don't listen or they don't take you seriously, it still makes it easier for the next person to explain it to them. And if enough people do that, it might start to look pretty reasonable. It's harder to dismiss because most people find an argument more persuasive if they hear it multiple times. The right is amazing at this. Discuss gender with them and you'll hear one of the two following jokes. I identify as a silly thing. Did you just assume my gender? And that shit works, despite being childish garbage because they just say it a lot. It's not equivalent to identify as an attack helicopter and to identify as a woman, because a woman is a thing a person can be. That doesn't matter though, they just say it a lot. So talk to people. You might not convince them, but you will make them easier to convince in the future. Revolution isn't built on the foundation of armed conflict. Armed conflict is just the most dramatic and visible form of revolution. If we want to make our revolution succeed where others have failed, we need to make sure we communicate our ideas, work together, make sure people's basic needs are met. The things I have outlined in this video are probably not what you might think of as revolutionary activity. Because you already know how to throw a brick through a Starbucks window, you don't need me to explain how to do that. If we're going to build up the infrastructure for a successful and, more importantly, just revolution, we gotta lay the foundation. And I truly feel the need to stress this, because people find arguments more persuasive when they hear them multiple times. Please join an organization like the IWW, Food Not Bombs, your local anti-racist action, even the fucking DSA, if you must. It's a lot easier to work together than it is to work individually. Why try to reinvent the wheel? There are groups out there doing the work right now, and if you're not sure where to start, they can absolutely get you up to speed. Down to business now. It's me, Thought Slime. No funny business this time. Please press the like button. Also, please subscribe to me. I would appreciate you doing both of those things. And hey, if you want, you can also go to patreon.com/thoughtslime and kick me a couple bucks every month, but only do it if it's advisable for you to do that, please. You can also follow me at twitch.tv/thoughtslime, where I stream every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now I'm playing Until Dawn, but hopefully, if there is a god, I will be finished that game soon and never have to play it again. Did you know I have a second YouTube channel called Scaredy Cats? Of course you did. I already mentioned it in this video. Go to there and watch the videos there. I command you. You will obey. Wait, actually, let me use reverse psychology. Don't watch the videos. You're probably not cool enough to watch the videos. Haha, that'll get 'em. I'm just, right now what I'm doing is I'm still talking to fill space because there's all these credits and drawings, and I want that space. I don't want people to just stop watching when the credits come. I put a lot of work into these drawings. Look at them. They're cute.